All right, y'all. Good morning. Today is Monday, Moonday, December 15th, 2025. And this daily drip is coming from a chart pulled for 6 a.m. from my location. So the day opens up with Sagittarius rising at just over 4 degrees, which immediately tells us this is a meaning making day. Sag rising always asks, what does this experience add up to? What story are you telling yourself about what's happening? But here's the catch. Underneath that Sag optimism is a Capricorn undercurrent. So while part of you wants freedom, expansion, and truth, another part of this chart is saying, okay, but what's the responsibility attached to that? This is not reckless Sag energy. This is Sagittarius energy that has a backbone. So let's talk about why the front of the chart is so loud today. We've got Venus, the Sun, and Juno all in Sagittarius stacked in the first house, and Mars has just crossed over into Capricorn, also sitting in that same angular space. This is a day where how you move through the world matters, not your intentions, not your expectations. It's really just about your impact. And the sun is at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, which gives it a Leo flavored expression, but with a Virgo undertone. The translation for all of this is confidence is meeting scrutiny. So this is the kind of energy that asks, are you standing in your truth or hiding behind some sort of charisma? Are you leading or avoiding accountability by calling it independence? And does your self-image match your actual behavior? And because Mars has just entered Capricorn, there's no patience for half effort today. Mars in Capricorn doesn't waste energy. It does not chase drama. It doesn't act without strategy. So if something's worth doing today, it's worth doing deliberately. Otherwise, it will feel exhausting instead of empowering. And we do not want that. Now, let's talk about the pressure point of the day because it's really real. Saturn is forming a square to the sun. This isn't dramatic. I would say it's more sobering. Saturn-Sun aspects tend to strip away excuses. They reveal where you've been relying on momentum instead of discipline, or maybe relying on optimism instead of structure. Now, if something feels heavy today, it's because the chart is asking you to take ownership, not emotionally, but practically. And here's where Moonday really comes into play. The moon has just entered Scorpio, early degrees, sitting quietly but intensely. And this isn't expressive emotion. This is contained emotion, watching, processing, assessing. Scorpio moon days are about emotional truth without spectacle. And you might not want to talk about what you're feeling today. You might not even have the language for it yet, but you know when something isn't right. With this moon landing in the 11th house, these feelings often surface through shifting friendships, group dynamics, social spaces that suddenly feel misaligned, and realizing where you've been compromising your emotional safety to belong. And underneath that Scorpio moon is a Sagittarius tone, which can make reactions bigger than expected. Something small might hit a nerve, or a comment might linger longer than it should, so watch out for that. But let's talk about Black Moon Lilith because she's still very active, y'all. Lilith is sitting at the final degree of Scorpio, which is pressure cooker energy. This is emotional material that's reached its limit. Patterns that can't be carried forward. Desires that can't be buried anymore. Today, Lilith is forming a trine to Neptune, and that combination brings unfiltered intuition. This is the kind of knowing that doesn't need proof. You feel it in your body before your mind catches up. And at the same time, Lilith is still unwinding from her recent opposition to Uranus. So while the shock may have already happened, the implications are still setting in. If you've recently realized something about your autonomy or your boundaries or someone else's control over you, today is about digesting that realization, not reacting to it. Now, let's get into Chiron because this is where the internal friction is showing up. Chiron remains retrograde in Aries, and today it's continuing to build toward a square with Jupiter. The aspect pressures on belief systems tied to identity. And this pretty much can look like defensiveness when challenged, or frustration around leadership, authority, or masculinity, or people doubling down instead of reflecting. Don't let one of those people be you. And confidence wounds, being mistaken for moral certainty. Hey, Chiron in Aries keeps asking, are you acting from healing or from injury? And it's important that you figure out that distinction. And Jupiter amplifies that question. If something feels triggering today, ask yourself, is this about what's happening or about what it reminds me of? Now, let's pull everything together. This is not necessarily a chaotic day. This is not necessarily a dramatic day. I would say this is more of a clarifying day. A day where emotional depth meets responsibility, instinct meets structure, and truth meets consequence. So you don't need to fix everything today, but you do need to notice what's no longer sustainable. Because Moonday asks one question above all else. What actually makes you feel secure? Not temporarily, but consistently over time. Not what distracts you, not what numbs you, not what performs well, but what supports you. So that's today's Daily Drip. Remember to move intentionally, speak carefully, and trust what your instincts are flagging. See you tomorrow. I love you.